with it. Boom ID immediately goes into that Lifestealer, which is a great pickup against Kunkka, I have to say, and the Sven. Both of them are kind of hurt by that. It's a hero that we've seen come in and out. I think it works quite well with the Earth Spirit as well. You have some easy vehicle for your initiation, and I feel like it's going to be hard to deal with it if you give it too much space here.
10 seconds.
Certainly so. I mean, both teams seem like they've got some pretty strong drafts going for each other, so it does seem like it's going to be a close one, but yeah, that Lifestealer could be a real headache for the side of Lotac. We did see it be a real headache to the side of Lotac in game number 1 of the last series. So, see what Boom ID plan to do with it. So it does look like it's going to be a very aggressive game from the side of the Boom ID. But one final ban before we see how both these teams close it off.
10 seconds remaining.
It also is very unusual, by the way, John, that Lotac does go into that mid pick as their 4th. It does seem like they generally leave it till the last pick. But this time around with the Kunkka, they kind of reveal their hand a bit.
I feel like that's because they kind of know their matchup. I think they're expecting Pugna to go mid, which really isn't too bad of an assumption. That is where Pugna tends to go. I feel like the Kunkka should be able to apply a good amount of harass with his Tidebringer there. Even with just the Torrent, if you can land it, it's going to be pretty potent. Pugna's not really a tanky hero, so you should be able to do quite a fair bit as a Kunkka against that Pugna. You just have to watch out for the decrep. If you will be decrep, well, you don't really do damage, do you?
No. Boom ID, final pick for them. Brewmaster was the final ban out, so fair enough, they want to remove any more forms of control that Lotac could bring out for themselves in that off lane.
Radiant team pick.
And they will actually go for the Timber Sword, John, so they may just switch this up and maybe put the Pugna in an aggressive tri-lane instead. I like this. I like the Timber pick. I think Kunkka is going to struggle a bit if they do put the Timber mid. And overall, there's no counters that Lotac has towards this pickup quite yet anyway.
Yeah, I do like that last pick from Boom. It's definitely a bit interesting, and excuse me, it's a bit different to close out your draft. We've seen this a couple of times where that last pick we saw causes a lot of issues for the opposing team. It feels like Lotac may have trapped themselves just a bit here. We'll see how they fix their draft up to deal with this Timbersaw. But again, Boom ID does have a lot of flexibility here. They could run that aggro try, as you mentioned, with the Pugna. I think that could work out potentially quite well. And this Timbersaw pickup also gives them another vehicle for Lifestealer to go into. So they have a lot of ways of really jumping into the fight, starting them. And it doesn't feel like Lotac has a great response for that.
They'll go for the Shadow Fiend, so they switch it up as well. Chuan will be on the Shadow Fiend, so a lot of mind games going on in the drafting phase. Overall, John, how do you feel like this one goes? The draft does seem relatively even on both ends.
Yeah, it does feel even, and I have to tell you, Mike, I'm really not sure which way this game goes.
They're running the POS 3 Ohio Sven as well.
I mean, we've seen that before, right? We've seen this in China, where they run that position tree Sven, and it worked out quite well for LGD. I mean, you get that farm timing up, you get that fast blink, you're really disruptive, you're in the middle of the fights, you're jumping in. You've got a fast, usually it's Lads, I think that's the main pickup for offlane Svens. They tend to go for that buffing item still. And there's a lot of potential there. So I don't really feel too bad about that. It's going to be interesting to see if Ohio can pull it off the same way that China region does, of course. It's a very different playstyle, to be sure, in a very different region, so we'll see how effective that goes. I'm still quite intrigued with Lotac's last pick, Shadow Fiend. It's really a hero that, you know, it's the poster child for the mid lane that hasn't really shown up in that lane in a while, Mike. I mean, it's definitely not the most meta pick out there. But I feel like against this lineup, against something like the Timbersaw, you're going to need those raises, so it does make a bit sense here. Overall, though, I have to say, by the draft, hard to say. As you said, it's a bit even. I feel like if Boom ID can keep the pressure up, which should be quite easy with an Earth Spirit Lich, it could be hard for Lotac to bounce back up because a lot of their cores really require farm. So if Boom ID get their momentum going, it's going to be hard for Lotac to bounce back. At the same time, if Lotac holds up, I feel like they scale quite nicely.
No, absolutely. We'll find out very soon. Going to be a hell of a series to watch and a very fun one at that, I'm sure. Of course, winner of this series does go straight to the minor. This is a big deal for either team. Now the drums, John. Signal the start of this game. Of course, we'll keep a close eye out for the festive piglets that we've been seeing, but fortunately none coming out at the start of this game.
Doesn't look like anyone has any left, I'll be honest with you, Mike. There are some on Jocam, but I don't see him pumping them out just yet, which is a great disappointment to me, Mike.
Absolutely. Yeah, if Jocam does plan to hold on to those for later on.
I am compelled to thank you.
Like both teams, just going to be more than happy to do the usual. Go for the safe 2 bounties each and just back off. Do their laning stage, although what's going to be quite interesting to see how they run these lanes. Like, do they still run the Timber mid? Probably not. It looks like they're going to run FBZ in the off lane as that Timber Saw instead. They are going to put Mikoto on that mid Pugna up against the Shadow Fiend. So, I mean, this is still looking pretty good for Boom ID in that sense. Like, they left that mid lane very open with the Pugna Timber Saw, because both of them could be just in the off lane. And it looks like ultimately it probably is still a bit of a win for the side of Boom.
Yeah, I feel like you can still get some work done as the Pugna here. You just have to watch out. Your HP pool is really not that good, so if you cop all 3 raises from a really aggressive movement from Shadow Fiend, you're gonna get blown up quite fast. So Mikoto will have to watch his spacing. But beyond that, you know, they should be able to trade farm. If not, Mikoto should be able to clear out the waves a bit easier than the Shadow Fiend should. Doesn't take too much mana to do that.
Yeah. Top lane. Looks like Ohio already going to find himself in a bit of trouble. Fervian will make the chase. Do quite a bit of damage. Actually, bot lane is where the first blood happens. Skem finds FBZ on the troll. Wasn't expecting that one to be the first blood, but well, you've got the Grimstroke with that Inkswell available, and it looks like they're going to try and find even more. Jocam will start being chased down. Yamate on that position 4 Kunkka. In fact, position 5, excuse me. Chasing him down. Jocam actually copying a hell of a lot of damage. Yamate going to continue this chase. Has the turret now as well. Will not throw it out. Will hold on to it for the moment. A very, very early first blood going to the side of Lotac.
Yeah, nice clean kill. I feel like when you're laning against that Timbersaw, you really have to bully this hero out as early as possible, because by the time he hits level 4, level 3 even, it gets a bit hard to control. So killing him off at level 1, level 2 when it's a bit weak, especially since you go for that level 1 Timber Chain, it's really the right power play here from Lotac, and just kind of slows down FVZ just a tad.
Ohio trying to get some creep skipping going, and like he will manage it. Kescute trying to pull the creeps back his way, and he actually does manage to get him off Ohio. A very nice play coming out from Kescute. Ohio does still manage to get 1 melee creep, but that's certainly not the exactly what he wanted. The bot lane, the side of Boom ID aren't going to be too happy looking at that. FBZ again going down. And this tri lane that's being run by the side of Lotac appears to be way too much for this Timbersaw to put up with right now. In fact, Jocam is trying to make a run out now as well, but this Earth Spirit really can't do much up against this tri lane.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure what Jocam is doing in this bot lane. I don't think you have any kill potential with a level 2 Timbersaw just yet. I feel like you'd have a lot more potency as long as you stick with a Lich, but it looks like that's not the priority right now for Boom ID.
No. He's still being chased down. Yamate just running way faster thanks to those brown boots he got early. I mean, Jocam, no regen left. Probably going to just have to back off to the fountain. Still got a couple minutes for the first shrine to be up. He'll stick around, but Boom ID getting nothing out of this offlane. Mid lane,
Yeah,
not going well for Chuan though, to be fair. Like, Boom ID are winning this one out. Makoto, as expected, is having a pretty good time on the Pugna. I say that. Chuan moves forward, gets disarmed with the Decrepify. Makoto gonna play around with this with the Nether Blast. Now the rotations as well. But Chuan gonna stand his ground and will find the kill. Kezcute comes in, tries to clean him up, and does do so. But Makoto getting a bit too overly confident.
That did feel a bit awkward coming out from Makoto. He looked pretty good, but he had no way to heal himself back, so those red hooks were just right through. I mean, again, going back to my previous point, Pugna is not a very tanky hero to have, Mike.
Oof. Bot lane as well, John. I mean, FBZ, so close to dying. Jocam actually rolled in just to basically give his own life away and ends up losing it, of course. Meanwhile, mid lane though, Chuan is going to be in trouble. Kezcute is there. Chuan holding his ground. Does have one charges available. Now turns around with the razors. The Nether Blast is there. Chuan will find a kill, but will end up losing his own life. And now Raven should be the secondary, and he will be. Makoto will find a double for himself on the Pugna.
I guess that makes up for the previous trade. A very nice set of kills going the way of Makoto, and that does let him chip away at this tower. Just a bit at that tier 1 mid. So good start for Makoto. He's definitely won out that mid lane. It's going to be a bit hard for Chuan to really play catch up. He's going to have to go into the jungle, build up his stacks, get some farm going, get his first few items up before really forcing these fights later on.
Top lane as well. We haven't talked about it too much, but it does appear Fervian is having a pretty nice time on that lifestealer. Though they have left Ohio to solo up against him, so Ohio should be able to catch up himself on that farm. Bot lane, Yamate gonna find himself in trouble as well on the Kunkka. And should end up falling here to FBZ, and he does. They do get a nice little pick off at that bot lane, and FBZ, he desperately needs that gold, so he's gonna be feeling pretty good about that one.
Definitely so. He's playing catch up now a bit. Still a level behind Skem, but you know, he's at the point where he can kind of sustain this lane solo, even if he was ganked up a bit more. Should be able to at least tank through a lot more hits than he did a few minutes ago.
Nice bait play coming out from the side of Boom ID. They drag in Yamate and Chuan into that mid lane, and they both get cleaned up. They do get Jocam as a trade, but Jocam not going to mind at all on that Earth Spirit, just dying for the sake of getting 2 more kills for his team. Now FBZ bot lane. Skem, if he gets those lucky ensnares off, and he is managing to do so, he could take him down, but those reactive armor charges, when they start to kick in, do really make it hard for a Troll Warlord to try and finish the job off. It does look like there'll be a big rotation coming out from Boom ID down to that bot lane. Makoto just leaving the mid lane altogether. Perhaps just deciding they want to go for a quick push. Chuan will be more than happy to take that farm though.
They were spotted out by a ward though, so that ward over at the Radiant bot Riverside does spot out that movement, which means it's a bit of wasted time here for Boom ID unless you're really just down there to chip away at that tower. No hero kills to be found, everyone's pulled out. Skem's gone to jungle for a bit, and they give up mid to Chuan a bit so he can play catch up. Really not the ideal position, but you know, he still has some catching up to do. Chuan before he's a big threat, so I feel like, I guess this tier 1 down bot is a priority for Boom ID. Should be easy enough to take it out.
Well, certainly so with the Pugna. Not going to be very hard whatsoever. Max Nether Blast, of course, already available for Makoto. They will get started. Mid lane, Jocam left to defend that mid tier 1 tower by himself. Not feeling too comfortable. In fact, Raven will spot him out now, and they do get the silence off with the Inkswell as well. Stroke of Fate, however, does miss, but it should still be a kill. Surely they do get the X, and they will find the kill. This isn't really a tier 1 tower guaranteed, but they'll be able to get surely a bit of chip damage going. Although while all that's happening, bot tier 2 is under attack. Ohio jumps in. They are going after FBZ, but he manages to chain away. Now they'll chase the Pugna as well. The silence is there. FBZ, he'll return back in to try and help out. In fact, they may turn this one around, but Chuan comes in on that Shadow Fiend, and they will find FBZ, and that's a big pickup. Now Makoto as well. He's even bigger, but it looks like he will be able to run his way out, and he'll go for an immediate TP.
Yeah, nice response from Lotac there, catching out that Timbersaw. Again, giving a nice kill to their Shadow Fiend. Really needs all he can get, but beyond that, you know, at least they saved their tier 2. Was in pretty serious threat, I feel, to really go down. Especially since Mikoto really wasn't needed to back out, but now that tier, you know, now that they pull out, that tier 1 mid is going to be under threat. There is a smoke out from Boom ID as well, so the rotation is going to be up top. Time to give Fervian some action, it looks like, Mike.
Yeah, certainly so. Scam definitely going to have to be very careful. Has had a decent time so far. The roll in will not connect, though. Jokam will get the slow off, and Scam with that gaze, they will be able to hold him in place, and he will end up going down. Even the tips coming out from Fervian early on. And it looks like they will get started with that top tier 1 tower now.
Yeah, and I don't really see a contest coming out from Lotac here. Fervian also just picked up his Midas, so his farm and EXP will accelerate even more. I mean, the guy's been on top of that bird for a while. It's just going to kind of escalate from here. I do like this Midas pickup, though. I mean, again, there's really not too much farming items you can get on Lifestealer. But Battle Fury doesn't work, so Midas does kind of work out.
Raven. Ingswell was there, but it will not connect on anybody. Decrepify and Makoto will clean him up with the Nether Blast lifesteal. With that, Boom ID more than happy with their secondary tier 1. They will back off and get back to farming. I mean, Lotac, they've got to be really wary of this because this is the game plan from Boom ID. You know, try to take a tier 1 tower, engage in a team fight, probably win that team fight, and then back off. Jokam, though, bot lane, will get caught out. Nice silence there to make sure he can't X him back. And Jokam will be able to walk out of there slowly but surely. FBZ was there just in case to make sure he could help him out.
Yeah, I feel like so far the game does look tied up, 8-8, but that's a 4K net lead to Boom ID. That comes down to the towers they've taken, the kills, I guess the kills on bigger targets they've taken as well. So it's been a fairly good start for Boom. I feel like we might have to see Lotac try to slow down, at the very least try to buy space for the SF and the Troll to really farm up. You're going to need Skem to find farm. Again, that's win condition for Lotac every time they pick these heroes. They ride on Skem finding farm, which means they have to secure the map. So far, it doesn't feel like they have a grip on the map just yet, Mike.
Boom ID, again, in an aggressive position. Yamate is waiting around on that Kunkka. Not quite level 6 yet, however. It would help out quite a bit if he was. But they will go after Ohio at that bot lane with that Frost Shield. He does God Strength up, but is he really going to be able to man fight here? It looks like God Strengthing was just enough for them to back off, and now they will engage. Yamate, X-Torrent is there, stun as well, but it's FBZ on that Timber. He's a really hard kill to go for with just right clicks. Still got about half his HP going. Frost Shield as well to keep him tanky, although double Inkswell is there, and now the ulti comes out. Chuan, though, he does end up dropping it. Now Jokam in there with the Chain Frost. Where's the bounces? It's very unlucky, but they will finally end up getting Yamate on the last bounce. Ohio will be able to back off. Makoto still making a chase onto Raven, and it looks like he will just be able to find him. Decrepify, Nether Blast, Life Train is available, but he won't go for it, but rather he needs another Nether Blast. Inkswell, however, he's going to try and turn this one around. Jokam comes in, a double Inkswell there, but they will end up finding the pick-off. Makoto now on a wicked 6 streak.
Yeah, I mean, he's been really active on the map. He's been in pretty much nearly every team fight that's been breaking out. Just going, finding a kill, and pushing tower again. That's really game plan here for Boom. They're making it work quite well despite the losses they've taken on this Timbersaw. He's died 4 times, Mike. FBZ has died 4 times, and it doesn't seem like it's a factor at all.
No. Seems like he's been free farming the whole time, honestly. Chuan being chased down, gets slowed up. He's been silenced as well, although he will walk his way out. Jokam could be in trouble and the boat will come in. It does actually end up connecting onto a few heroes, but it won't really matter too much because Boom seem unaffected by this and they'll continue moving forward. FBZ, can he find anybody? It doesn't look like it, although they do ping out Ohio and FBZ is on the chase. Ohio making a run for it. But how fast can this man run? FBZ, where's the chains? Does get there. Surely Ohio stuns him up. TP's in front of him, and he will not make it. FBZ. Oh my.
That was pretty cheeky from Ohio. Good attempt, not quite enough. Not for that HP, Ohio.
Oh, FBZ. And they will get started again on that bot lane. Start pushing in that tier 2 tower. Try to continue this map control. So top lane, it will start being pushed in by Skem, who is again going for that Battle Fury, but it's not going to be the most amazing timing in the world. It seems like he's just going to, I guess, like farm a bit faster, but it's pretty hard to say that. Like Boom ID is being so aggressive, it doesn't really feel like they're giving him much space to actually get that farm up safely.
Yeah, on the bright side for Lotac, Skem has had a pretty free run up top. He's managed to play catch-up. He's working towards that Battle Fury again. Lotac hasn't really deviated from this game plan. Every time they pick up this troll, Skem just farms that Battle Fury, and then they let Skem farm some more. And then, at some point, by 25 to 30 minutes in, that's when Lotac feels comfy enough to take these fights as, you know, as a full team. But before then, it's buying space for Skem and hoping that investment pays off. Right now, they have a good amount of control on the map, like, at the very least with that tier 1 gone up top. Skem does have a safe area to farm in the top jungle, so he will be just sitting there, basically. What that does mean, though, is that Chuan will have a harder time farming up on this SF. Pretty much everyone else is going to have a harder time farming up, as they don't have any space for themselves, but they are really buying all they can for Skem.
Chuan seem to be having a decent time on that Shadow Fiend, but I don't know how well can this hero go. They do engage top lane, and they will find Raven. Jocam falling low, should die. The turret does connect, but no, it's not quite enough. Jocam, the boat will also not connect. He will manage to walk his way out of there, and they do end up getting Raven's Grimstroke as well on the side of Boom. So they really are finding everything without actually giving anything away on the side of Boom ID.
Yeah, again, it's been very clean engagements for Boom ID for the most part. I think the one thing they really need to get a grip on to really tighten the lead in this game is some more wards down in Lotac's jungle. Just really watch Skem's movements, because if you give Skem an opening, he will farm like mad. And right now, they've really just ignored this guy for, what, the past, I want to say the past 3-4 minutes now. And in that time, he's finished his Battle Fury, he's going to work towards his next item. And again, if you give him too much space, he will become an issue. That's just how Lotac plays this.
Well, it looks like they are trying to engage. Though Skem will turn around and start man-fighting Jocam. Frost Shield does make it very hard, though. And, well, both sides just opt to back off. Skem, he was just waiting for the Ancients to respawn, so he just goes back to that. And goes back to the left of the jungle. And we'll just continue farming up. Yamate actually just standing guard for his troll friend. We'll go for an X attempt, it seems, onto FBZ, but he's already out of there and perfectly fine. Still, though, 9 to 13, 16.5 minutes in. 5k net worth now to Boom. The momentum has slowed down a bit for Boom ID, and it's like you keep telling me, if they allow them to farm, it's going to be a problem. Just a matter of how long will they allow it.
Yeah, I feel like we should be seeing... Oh.
Yeah, Raven, he'll be alright. He'll TP out at the right time, and the roll was not on point. Have a look at the Dota Plus win probability, and currently we're sitting at about 73% the way of Boom ID.
Yeah, it's. I mean, they have a significant amount of the map under their control. They have superior farm under course so far. Again, the one thing I really want to see from Boom right now, well, besides killing Skem, which is basically what they need, is pushing some more towers. You want to be clearing these objectives while your Pugna is really strong, and that's about now.
Yeah, Yamate loses half his HP from just one combination of FBZ. Looks like that tier 2 tower will be the target, though. They need to wait for that creep wave to come down. Looks like they may go for a pick off that mid lane, but nobody is showing up, and Jocam has the infested Nakes as well. They want to be very aggressive about this. Of course, the Radiants did also just come out on the Nakes, so they've got a lot of bit of a power spike going on the side of Boom ID. The tier 2 tower. A lot of danger. Fervian leaves the Earth Spirit. And that tier 2 mid tower not looking too healthy. In fact, it looks like Lotac don't really have a way to get in there and try to defend this. They will just have to let it go. Will they defend the top tier 2? I'm going to take a wild guess and say no.
Yeah, probably not, Mike. Again, they're not quite equipped to force these fights out. Even if they did, all you can really do this fight is buy scam some space, farm up. I don't think it's worth throwing your bodies out to these outer towers anymore. You've just got to accept you're going to lose them. You're playing against a Pugna. These towers will get pushed.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Well, the tier 3 is a bit more important though, Joe. They can't really let this one go. It will go very, very fast though to a Pugna. And Boom ID, again, not afraid of anything. Because Fervian, he has the Radiance up. He's just more than happy to walk in there and take anyone on that wants to have a go at him.
Middle tower has fallen.
They are pushing the mid tower apparently. Ohio will get the job done himself. But I'm not sure about this from the side of Lotac. Fervian still okay. They will just put the Frost Shield on him, and he will take the tier 3 tower. There is a nice X onto FBZ, but he does use himself up, and he avoids the X back. And with that, it looks like Boom are just going to go back and defend a bit, and they even draw a line out to push through the mid lane.
Yeah, again, just very clean gameplay coming out from Boom ID, just taking these objectives safely, and just backing off. They're not overextending. They know they know they have their power spike for a bit longer. They know they've slowed down the itemization of Lotac. They're under no real pressure for the next, I want to say at least the next 5 minutes, probably the next 15, if the farming pace is kept in check. So there is some room for Boom ID to breathe here, but again, I just feel like when you're relying on a Pugna to push fast, you have to take these objectives fast. Sure, they've cleared out the map. I feel like one set of racks down, you're going to be a bit more comfy. But if you just leave it in this state of equilibrium as it is right now, after 15 minutes, that's when Scam's going to be a bit scary. That's when BKB comes out.
Jokam, he walks straight in with Fervian. Lotac, I don't think they realized the Nakes was actually there. They took out Jokam, but Fervian, he just raged and walked the hell out of there. It does look like he manages to pick up a BKB while all that was happening, so I guess you've got a bit more defense on the side of Lotac, but still don't think this is really going to be enough to contest the side of Boom, their team fight potential.
It is pretty potent. You will be blocking out a lot of damage from Timbersaw. You're blocking out Lich's damage. You're blocking out Mikoto's damage. The only thing you'll really worry about is Lifestealer, I suppose, right now if you're Chuan. But, you know, just having Chuan live long enough to cast this Requiem is pretty darn strong.
Lotac, looks like they want to make a push at that top lane. They are completely surrounded, however, and Yamate wants to go for the TP, but does get used up. It looks like he will be the sacrificial lamb for his team. At the very least, it isn't Ohio that gets killed off. He will just go back down to that bot lane and starts farming up again on that Sven. It's looking harder and harder for the side of Lotac. They're desperately trying to get those core items up on their cores. But the farm is just a bit slower than it is on the side of Boom ID, it seems. Whether they can keep up is a question of its own.
Yeah, definitely. So again, they've gotten a few things up and running under 2 cores outside of Ohio. They have the Battle Fury on the Troll. They have the BKB on Chuan. And pretty soon, even, yeah, Scam's going to have his BKB up in a bit. Maybe in the next 5 minutes. Chuan will have his Shadow Blade up by that time as well. And then you're going to see Lotac really come online to take these fights. Before that, you do have some potential with just the BKB on Chuan, but again, it's just one here right now. He does need some follow-up from his other teammates.
See when that time comes. Of course, Boom ID definitely don't want to take this too far. Like, we talked about it over and over again, but it is still a Troll Warlord you're up against in the late game. Be a real pain in the ass. Fervian, though, doesn't seem too concerned about that. Almost has a full Manta up on that Lifestealer now. In fact, make that a full Manta that he does have up. So Roshan is being sneakily taken by the side of Lotac, and it doesn't seem like Boom ID are actually aware of this. Though I say that they have smoked up and they will run past. They break the smoke as well, but they haven't realized they're in the Roche yet. Now they do, but the Requiem was already there by Chuan and he blows two of them up. Now they run in with that lifesteal, trying to take that Roshan, but Fervian's losing too much HP and he's gone. Oh, the side of Lotac. Actually, FBZ, he got the Aegis. He managed to sneak it, but he gets X back and he will get taken out. Can they take him out a second time? Lotac, FBZ all alone. He's going to try and fight this by himself. In fact, Mikoto comes back in, but the X back on FBZ, dragging him back into the pit. They will take him out. And that's 4 down for the side of Boom ID. The only positive being they managed to snag the Aegis.
Yeah, I guess that's a nice enough, nice enough trade for Boom ID, just denying that Aegis off. But man, was that a pretty messy team fight. They walked past the pit. Their smoke all broke. And they kept walking up the ramp. They didn't think to check the pit. It's a bit of a shame. Quite frankly, I'm a bit surprised a team like Boom ID would get bamboozled like that. It's definitely not something what you expect their level of play to be at, but I guess mistakes do happen. Probably didn't expect a sneaky Roche coming out. And that is a fairly big win for Lotac, just getting those kills on those cores. And that definitely bounces them back up. I feel like if you're Boom ID now, you feel a bit pressured. You're going to want to take, again, those objectives fast, while your Mikoto Pugna is still pretty strong. I mean, he's going all in the magic. BKB is going to come out as well. Instead of going for utility, like would say.
Kodo. Get X back, but you're alright. FBZ just pushing in that mid lane, while the rest of his team does push the top lane in. And it does look like they may have a bit of an engagement here on FBZ. So a nice chain away to make sure that they cannot really engage. FBZ actually going back in, but there's 5 heroes around him right now. There will be the Soulbind out. Ohio doesn't really want to go for this team fight, but they are forcing to stick around. Chuan now thinking about turning around. They will go after FBZ, who's falling very low. There is the Requiem. FBZ is down, though Fervian is a massive problem on that lifestealer, but now he's making a run for it as well. They are going to continue rolling in. Jokam goes after Skem. He keeps the Magnetize going as well. So they have grouped up. The Chain Frost is there, but it will only go on to Chuan. Meanwhile, Skem getting started with that BKB. Mikoto will end up getting Raven in the back lines, although they will lose Jokam as well on the side of Boom ID. The Gaze is there to hold down Skem. He has the Battle Trance and will get started on Kezcute, though that Frost Shield making it really hard to actually hit anything. And Skem looks like he will end up going down to Mikoto, who's currently 10-1 with 6 assists, by the way. And who is that? Fervian is still chasing down Chuan, and Chuan should be dead, and he will be. And a nice engagement there from Boom ID. In fact, they'll go straight for the tier 3 towers afterwards.
Yeah, they definitely have to, I feel. You're certainly approaching the point where once that BKB... Yeah, I mean, the BKB has come out from Lotac, so you really want to take these fights ASAP before any more itemization comes out. Mikoto is still fairly strong, even with 10-second charges up if you play right. So.
Oh, nice Infest dodge. Fervian. Gonna continue going. Rage was there. Ohio gonna be the target. He basically heals up all his HP now, Fervian, and he takes down Ohio as well. Lotac, I mean, you thought they could have taken that team fight down bot, but they were pretty hesitant to do so, and with that, Boom ID will take a Rax off them.
Yeah, it's a hard time for Lotac. I mean, the BKBs are out, but just disarming, just being forced to use that BKB early, and then, like, say, Skem getting decrepified for the most part while his ult was running, it's really costly. And there's not much you can really do if that BKB is on cooldown, so you will have to, I think, if you're Lotac, you have to watch that usage of the BKB. Make sure you use it when you're sure you're going to get a kill. Otherwise, using it defensively, it's not going to pay off.
The Dagons being finished up on Mikoto. That is a Dagon 5. No, in fact, it's a 4. One more recipe will get the job done. It's Pugna. Been a real headache for the side of Lotac this game. Skem, I mean, he's farmed okay, but you look at Fervian's farm on that lifestealer, he's just gone above and beyond. 19.5k in comparison to the 13.5 of Skem's troll. Such a big difference, and just no wonder everyone's just running away from this lifestealer rather than trying to kite him around and take him out.
He is quite big right now, Mike. I'd argue that he's big enough to take on Lotac all by himself, but probably not worth the risk, proving that point. He is, you know, I mean, he's got his AC up now. I think that, yeah, there it is. All he really needs is what? Say a heart maybe coming out, maybe a basher or pistol, and he's pretty much set.
They have smoked up. They're going to have a look for somebody around the map. Irvian, who can find? They are getting rather close. Yamate drops a ward but gets caught out immediately. Skem continuing to farm the Ancients. They will take him out. Meanwhile, FBZ actually ended up finding Raven up in those top trees. I don't quite know how he knew, but he did manage to get that support kill onto the Grimstroke as well. And with that, it looks like they're going to start going again for those tier 3 towers in the mid lane. In fact, no, they switch it up to the top lane. Much easier option in terms of tier 3s. They will start on those racks. Lotac, they've got to at least wait for their supports to be back up. Nice little dodge there from Fervian on that Stormhammer. And with that, they're going straight for the Megas now. How do Lotac stop this? Well, it looks like Boom ID will probably play this safely and they will back off to safety again. Skem actually walks past them. Skem, what are you doing? He's baiting them in. BKB, Frost Shield was there. Skem has the Battle Trance available. The Chain Frost will bounce around and does absolutely nothing. Soulbind is there as well. Joe Camp jumps in after Chuan. Requiem coming out. The boat does miss everything. Joe Camp's still alright throughout all this, although they are making the chase now. And it looks like Lotac will be able to find something, surely. Although FBZ in those front lines, making sure they can't kill off anybody. And now they will chase Kezcute, although a nice kickback onto Yamate. He ends up dying. Skem is very, very low, and he ends up going down as well. And it looks like Joe Camp going to make the final chase out onto the Grimstroke. And he will end up going down. Raven could not survive that. There will be buybacks coming out from the side of Lotac, but they're losing those heroes very, very quickly. And Fervian is full HP still. We'll start the racks. Yeah. It's rough. Mikoto, where the hell is Mikoto? He's at the fountain apparently. He's still finding kills. They will get Joe Camp, but the GG call's already been made. And look at those tips coming up for Skem. Boom ID absolutely have... I mean, they really want to rub that into Skem. Psychological warfare, John, I do love it.
Oh, it's certainly something to watch, Mike, and I feel like, you know, this is Boom ID. This is what they do to Southeast Asian teams, Mike. If Boom ID is not facing off against the big names, they are, you know, a lot of people consider them on a different level compared to the other teams at this level for Southeast Asia. So you have to bring your A game when you meet up against them. And I feel like, you know, against a team like Lotac, they've definitely figured out what Lotac tends to do. They've had the advantage of just being able to watch the previous series, of course. So they understand that when that troll comes out as a first pick, they know what Lotac already wants to do. It's what they've been doing in the past day. I feel like for Game 2, Lotac has to change it up. They have to change their game plan here, approach it differently, and make Boom ID think a bit more.
Well, I'll tell you what, John. I think those tips, by the way, for Skem, I think they were just like, yeah, look, we let you farm the whole game. And it meant nothing. You know, it was kind of true. I mean, they let him farm the whole game freely. And unfortunately for Skem, nothing came out of that. Like, he did farm okay. But you look at Fervian. He was so darn far ahead on that lifestealer. I agree with you that they need to change it up a bit. I mean, against a team like Boom ID, it's not going to be easy. They're one game away from making it to another minor Boom ID. See if Lotac can pull this one around and force it to a game number 3. At the moment, though, it is, of course, MLP Dota and johnxfire joining you today for these grand finals. Please do stick around. We'll be right back with you in just a moment for game number 2. Won't be too long.